Hey guys, Tony Bonvec here at the Strength House. Today I'm going to talk about deadlift hitching, what it is, and how you can avoid it. So a deadlift hitch means that as you're standing up from the deadlift, that your knees start to straighten but then re-bend before lockout. Now that's not allowed in the sport of powerlifting. It doesn't really make for a clean deadlift, so you should avoid it in your training. So the main reasons why you might hitch and re-bend your knees as you lift the bar, number one is a poor starting position. Oftentimes we see if people round their backs too much when they start the deadlift, they're going to run into hitching. So even if I start in a pretty good position, if my back starts to round as I deadlift, as I get above my knees, I'm going to be in a really bad position to be able to straighten out. So you'll often see people re-bend their knees to get their hips closer to the bar and then make lockout easier. So if you're rounding your back too much in the starting position, either your starting position needs to improve, so you need to work on getting your chest up, taking the slack out of the bar, and pushing with your legs instead of yanking with your upper body, or you simply need to get your glutes and hamstrings stronger so you can keep your hips a little further from the bar. If my hips are in a good spot and I simply can't keep my hips where they are, I'm going to tuck my hips under and round my back. So that could be just your hips and hamstrings aren't strong enough, or you're just using too much weight, so reduce the weight that's on the bar so you can do your reps without rounding your back. The other reason why we see people hitch their deadlifts is because when they lock out, they're thinking about doing the wrong thing. So a really common cue for deadlift lockouts is hips through, kind of like you would with a kettlebell swing, like popping the hips through. A lot of people will try to drive the hips through too early when the knees are still too bent. And what that looks like is like this. So as I'm starting to stand up, my knees and my hips are straightening together, but if the bar clears my knees and my knees are still bent, if I try to get my hips through, I'm just going to hitch. I'm pushing my knees forward and supporting the bar on my thighs. As the bar clears my knees, I need to think more about locking my knees quickly. If the knees lock, usually the hips will follow shortly after. So as the bar is clearing my knees, I just think about locking the knees and my hips will follow right away. I don't think so much about hips, but think extending the knees really quick. I also think about kind of flexing my quads, and that'll get everything to lock out together. Now, something to practice that is I like to do like stiff leg block pulls, so elevate the bar on blocks and get the bar right below the knee and focus on breaking it off the blocks just by pushing down to the ground and flexing the quads. That can help a lot. Also, just being patient as the bar clears the knees. A lot of people focus on being really, really fast off the floor, which is awesome, but sometimes you need to be patient through lockout and not be in such a hurry to drive the hips through when the legs aren't locked yet. So if that bar clears your knees and you're slowing down a bit, don't panic. Just stay with it, straighten the legs as much as you can, and the hips will follow. So if you're having a hard time hitching your deadlift, try those two methods to see if it'll help and clean up your technique.